Envision you hold the way to finish opportunity, a daily existence where no other person's assessment controls you, where you don't dread dismissal, and where your inward harmony is unwavering. Yet on the planet around you, individuals are continually trying to impact your choices, occupy you also, pull you away from your actual way. How might you handle that pressure? This is the insight Buddha offers us, a way to transcend outer clamor and open your full power by zeroing in just on yourself today. We'll uncover 10 strong Buddhist illustrations that tell you the best way to relinquish others' sentiments and take control of your life. 1. Quit depending on others for your joy. As the Buddha once said, harmony comes from inside, don't look for it without. This implies that genuine bliss doesn't come from what others say or do, it comes from inside us. When we rely upon others for our bliss, whether it's through their endorsement, applause, or activities, we give them command over our feelings. This frequently prompts disillusionment on the grounds that no one can satisfy us constantly. Buddhism helps us to search internally for harmony and happiness. This implies figuring out how to be all right with who we are tracking down euphoria right now. Furthermore, rehearsing appreciation for what we as of now have. By rehearsing independence, we construct major areas of strength for and of inward harmony that nobody can detract from us. 2. Don't fear being separated from everyone else. It's where you find genuine power. As the Buddha said, ponder, live absolutely, hush up, do your work with authority. This instructs us that isolation isn't something to fear, it's all things considered a position of solidarity. When we invest energy alone, we gain the space to really comprehend ourselves, think about our considerations, and develop genuinely and profoundly. Being distant from everyone else permits us to ponder and zero in on our own development without interruptions, rather than depending on the organization of others for solace or approval. We figure out how to be our own best buddy. By embracing isolation, we track down the inward power and intelligence that assists us with exploring existence with certainty. What's more, clearness. 3. Quit looking for endorsement from everybody. As Buddha said, you as much as anyone in the whole universe merit your adoration and friendship. This implies that the endorsement you really need is your own, not any other person's. The point at which we continually look for approval from others, whether it's through praises, acclaim, or on the other hand acknowledgement, we neglect to focus on our own worth and allowed others to control how we feel about ourselves. Buddhism instructs us that genuine certainty and joy come from self-acknowledgement. You don't have to depend on the assessments of others to feel significantly better about what your identity is. Rather, practice giving yourself the adoration, graciousness, and approval you merit. The more you support yourself, the less you'll rely upon others for approval, liberating yourself from pointless pressure and frustration. For don't let dismissal break you. Dismissal is a characteristic piece of life, however, it doesn't characterize your worth. The effort's simple to feel deterred or deficient when confronted with dismissal, yet Buddhism helps us to see it distinctively. All things considered, of seeing it as a disappointment, view it as a chance for development and redirection. Now and again, dismissal is simply life's approach to directing you towards something better. As the Buddha said, in the end, just 3 things matter: the amount you cherished, how delicately you lived, what's more, how nimbly you let go of things not implied for you. This advises us that giving up with effortlessness is critical to finding harmony. When you quit taking dismissal, actually you free yourself from pointless torment and make space for new open doors. Let go, push ahead, and believe that dismissal is only a venturing stone on your excursion. 5. Quit dreading others' thought process of you. One of the greatest wellsprings of uneasiness is stressing about others' thought process of us. We frequently let the assessments of others shape our activities and sentiments. However, Buddhism instructs us that others' decisions are more about them than about us. The just thing that genuinely matters is the means by which you see yourself and your own decisions. As the Buddha said, let none see a problem with others Let none see the exclusions and calm missions of others, yet let one see one's own demonstrations done and scattered. This reminds us to zero in on our own excursion and quit stressing over what others believe. Individuals' viewpoints are out of your control, and continually dreading their judgment will just deplete your energy. When you let go of this dread, you track down opportunity and harmony in being really yourself. 6. Stop forfeiting your tranquility to satisfy others. A large number of us fall into the propensity for attempting to satisfy everybody around us, whether it's working with companions or even in our families. We twist around in reverse to make others blissful, frequently at the expense of our own tranquility and prosperity. However, eventually, regardless of how enthusiastically you attempt, you can never completely fulfill everybody, and this consistent work to satisfy others will just lead to weariness and stress, as the Buddha carefully showed. Better compared to 1,000 empty words is single word that brings harmony. This helps us that harmony to remember. Mind is undeniably more important than attempting to meet everybody's assumptions. Buddhism urges us to act with sympathy and consideration, however, not to the detriment of our own internal harmony. There's an equilibrium to be tracked down. Help others, yet don't let their requirements overpower your life. It's alright to say no. Furthermore, put down stopping points when vital. When you focus on your own tranquility, you're ready to live more legitimately and give from a position of solidarity instead of penance. Recall, the more you center around keeping your own brain quiet and focused, the less you'll want to continually look for endorsement or please others. Genuine satisfaction comes from inside, and when you honor your own tranquility, you carry more prominent amicability to your life also. Connection 7. Spotlight on what you have some control over. Yourself. In life, we frequently get disappointed or, on the other hand, upset since we attempt to control things that are all the way out of our hands. We believe individuals should act a certain way, circumstances to unfurl precisely as we envision, and results to continuously adjust with our assumptions. Yet one of the center lessons of Buddhism is that sticking to things unchangeable as far as we might be concerned, just purposes. Experiencing truly, you can't control how others act, how they feel, or on the other hand, what they think. The main thing you genuinely have control over is yourself, your activities, your considerations, and your responses. As the Buddha said, rule your brain, or it will administer you. This basic yet significant instructing is an update that our minds are inconceivably strong. When we center around dominating our own considerations and feelings, we oversee our lives rather than squandering energy attempting to transform others or control circumstances. Shift that energy internal. Ask yourself, how might I respond better? How might I move along myself? How might I discover a lasting sense of harmony inside, even at the point when things beyond me are tumultuous? By zeroing in on what you have some control over, your own psyche, propensities and reactions, you fabricate versatility. Outer occasions, whether they are positive or negative, never again have the ability to upset your inward harmony. Envision the opportunity that comes when you never again want to control everything around you. The second you acknowledge that others' activities are not your obligation, you recover your power. This mentality shift prompts a more settled, more satisfied life. You become less receptive and more deliberate, making choices from a position of internal dependability instead of stress or nervousness. This is the way to genuine opportunity. What's more, discipline one where you can stay settled despite outside conditions. By zeroing in on your inward world, you make a day-to-day existence where external turmoil can't contact your quiet. When you concentrate internal, you additionally quit depending on the capricious way of behaving of others to decide your bliss. You start to perceive that the way to harmony lies in your capacity to keep up with balance and care regardless around you. Over the long run, you'll find that by chipping away at yourself, you really rouse people around you to change. Your quiet becomes infectious. Others might start to notice your solidarity and versatility. and it might try and urge them to ponder their own activities. This training isn't about overlooking the world or becoming confined from others, but instead about understanding that your energy is best spent on what you can change yourself. Once you ace your own responses and attitude, you will track down that outer difficulties no more shake your establishment, and that is where genuine power lies. 8. Understand that individuals are zeroed in on their own lives. We frequently accept that individuals are continually watching and passing judgment on us. However, the truth is a lot less complex. The vast majority are unreasonably retained in their own lives to zero in on us. This acknowledgement can be amazingly liberating. The apprehension about judgment is one of the main motivations we keep away from being our bona fide selves. Whether it's stressing over how we dress, talk, or act, we accept others are examining each detail. Yet Buddhism helps us to give up of this superfluous weight and live more openly. As the Buddha showed, your work is to find your reality, and afterward with all your heart give yourself to it. This advises us that we each have our own novel process to follow. Individuals are fundamentally worried about their own issues, objectives, and dreams rather than stressing over what others could think of. You center around finding your way. What's more, living it completely. When you understand that individuals are not pondering you, however much you accept, it lifts a colossal weight off your shoulders. You no more need to squander energy attempting to live up to others' assumptions, and on second thought you can divert that energy into becoming the most ideal variant of yourself. Consider how frequently you stress about others' thought process contrasted with how much time you spend pondering your own difficulties and objectives. The fact of the matter is very much like you. Most individuals are engrossed with their own lives. They have their own fantasies, weaknesses, and stresses to manage. Passing on brief period to zero in on you. This understanding gives you the opportunity to be valid, pursue choices that vibe ideal for yourself, and seek after your interests without the consistent strain of outside judgment. Buddhism shows the idea of non-connection not simply to material things, yet in addition to the assessments of others. When you discharge yourself from the requirement for outer endorsement, you permit yourself to live more genuinely, as opposed to living in dread of others'. Contemplations center around your own development. This change in mentality prompts more noteworthy certainty and inward harmony, since you are at this point not a detainee of others' decisions. It's too critical to comprehend that everybody is confronting their own fights similarly as you may battle with your own contemplations and feelings. Others are managing their own issues. Perceiving this helps assemble sympathy and figuring out, making it more straightforward to relinquish the apprehension about judgment. Individuals aren't making a decision about you since they are too caught up with exploring their own battles. By zeroing in less on what others think and erring on your own improvement, you'll begin to see a feeling of opportunity that wasn't there before. You'll feel lighter, more engaged, and more in charge of your own fate. It's a strong acknowledgement that you don't have to stress over how others see you, since they are basically excessively made up for lost time in their own reality. Living genuinely and unafraid of judgment is a vital aspect for opening your valid potential. You'll face more challenges, seek after the things that really give you pleasure, and live with a more noteworthy feeling of direction. Recollect the world is unreasonably huge and life is too short to even think about living in the shadows of what others might be thinking. Center around finding and satisfying your own motivation with full devotion, by relinquishing the steady need for approval and the anxiety toward judgment. You make a psychological and profound space for self-disclosure. This training prompts a more grounded association with yourself and a more profound comprehension of what really matters in your day-to-day existence. The less you stress about what others figure, the more you can center around what causes you to feel satisfied, quiet, and content. 9. Don't get gotten up to speed in friendly correlation. One of the greatest snares in life is contrasting yourself to others, whether it's contrasting your Looks your profession, your achievement, or even your satisfaction. This propensity prompts sensations of jealousy, deficiency, and dissatisfaction. Buddhism instructs us that examination is a type of connection that prompts enduring. By continually estimating yourself against others, you fail to focus on your own novel way and the headway you've made on your excursion. As the Buddha said, well-being is the most prominent gift. Satisfaction, the best abundance, dedication, the best relationship. This advises us that valid abundance isn't tracked down in that frame of mind than others or being superior to others. It's found in happiness when you are satisfied with what you have and who you are. You have internal harmony. Social examination then again pushes you into a mentality of shortage, generally zeroing in on what you need rather than valuing what you as of now have in the present world. Virtual entertainment has made it simpler than any time in recent memory to contrast ourselves with to others we look at. Takes care of, full of pictures of amazing excursions, sumptuous ways of life, and examples of overcoming adversity, which can cause us to feel like we're falling behind. Yet what we frequently don't see is the truth behind those photographs, the battles, frailties, and challenges others face. Everybody's venture is unique, and looking at you in the background to another person's feature reel is a recipe for misery. Buddhism shows us the significance of living right now and developing appreciation for our own lives rather than searching externally to other people. Turn internal and center around your own development. At the point when you practice care and appreciation, you start to see the endowments in your own life and how far you've come. The more you value what you have, the less you want to contrast yourself with others. Examination frequently prompts a feeling of contest, which can raise desire and hatred. In Buddhism, these feelings are viewed as unsafe on the grounds that they cloud the psyche and remove us from our way to harmony. When you're continually contending with others, you're perpetually discontent, and this outlook denies you of the delight that comes from living genuinely. Perceive that everybody's way is unique and the outcome of others doesn't reduce your own progress or expect it. A vital Buddhist idea is correct job, which empowers living in a manner that brings amicability and balance. A piece of this equilibrium is tolerating that your life doesn't have to appear as though another person's for it to be satisfying. When you quit contrasting yourself to other people and spotlight on living as indicated by your own qualities and objectives, you start to encounter valid happiness. Your self-worth no more relies upon outside guidelines or accomplishments, yet rather is established in internal harmony and self-acknowledgement. Social correlation can divert you from the main thing. You might begin to pursue objectives or assets that don't line up with your actual cravings, basically, since you see others getting it done. Yet Buddhism advises us that genuine satisfaction comes not from outer accomplishments, but rather from understanding and following our own one-of-a-kind way. Pursuing what others have can lead you away based on what is really significant in your life. By rehearsing non-connection, you can break free from the pattern of correlation. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have objectives or take a stab at achievement. Rather, it implies perceiving that your worth isn't reliant upon outflanking others. Your worth comes from being consistent with yourself and your venture. When you understand this, you free yourself from the strain to continually compare others, and on second thought center on what gives you authentic pleasure and satisfaction. One more viewpoint to consider is the means by which examination takes your time and energy. The time you spend pondering another person's accomplishments or way of life is time you could use to deal with your own development and prosperity rather than begrudging another person's prosperity. Inquire yourself how you can work on your own life in manners that are significant to you. At the point when you center around your own advancement, you'll start to perceive the amount you've developed and what you're prepared to do, accomplishing which assembles certainty and confidence. Recall that life isn't a race. Every one of us has our own timing difficulties and examples to realize what is Important isn't the manner by which you contrast with others, yet the way that genuine you are to your own way. When you quit contrasting, furthermore, begin zeroing in on your own excursion, you will discover a feeling of harmony and satisfaction that no outer accomplishment can give. 10. Focus on your inward development over outside approval. In this day and age, a considerable lot of us are adapted to look for outer approval, whether it's endorsement from family, acknowledgement from associates, or likes and remarks via virtual entertainment. We frequently focus on others to feel better about ourselves, yet Buddhism instructs us that genuine harmony and satisfaction come from inside. The more we pursue outer approval, the more we get away from our actual selves. Our self-esteem becomes reliant upon how others see us, which makes a pattern of disappointment and frailty. As the Buddha carefully said, the mind is everything what you assume you turn into. This statement accentuates the power of your inward world. In the event that you center around your own development, outlook, and mindfulness, you become more grounded and more settled. On the other hand, assuming your considerations are continually looking for outer endorsement, you become caught by the assessments of others. In Buddhism, the way to illumination is established in mindfulness, care, and internal change. By zeroing in on your internal development, you can develop a feeling of satisfaction that no measure of outer approval can give. The quest for outer legitimate approval is frequently tied to our self-image, the piece of us that needs consideration, acknowledgement, and status, yet the self-image is perpetually discontent regardless of how much endorsement we get from others. The inner self will continuously need more. It turns into an endless pursuit that leaves us feeling void. Buddhism urges us to rise above the inner self by turning internal and looking for satisfaction through mindfulness, care, and empathy. The more you center around your inward development, the less power the inner self has over you. When you focus on inward development, you start to see that your value did not depend on how others see you, rather it's based on your own qualities, uprightness, and self-improvement. You start to measure achievement not by outer accomplishments, yet by the amount you've developed as an individual. Are you more persistent, more merciful, more careful than you were at this point yesterday? These are the valid markers of progress, and they come from inside. Outer approval, on the other hand, is transient. It can vanish as rapidly as it comes, leaving you pursuing after the following wellspring of endorsement. Zeroing in on internal development likewise permits you to fabricate flexibility. When your feeling of self-esteem is established in outer approval, you become defenseless against the feelings and decisions of others. A single analysis or dismissal can break your certainty. However, when your identity is grounded in your own self-improvement, you become more versatile to life's difficulties. You know what your identity is, and you needn't bother with others to let you know your value. This internal strength is perhaps of the best gift that comes from focusing on your own development. Focusing on inward development over outside approval prompts a more tranquil and valid life. When you quit stressing about what others think, you give yourself the opportunity to live agreeing to your own qualities and wants. You no longer feel the strain to squeeze into another person's assumptions or adjust to cultural norms. Rather, you carry on with a life that is consistent with who you are. This validness not just brings internal harmony, yet in addition draws in more profound, more significant associations with others. Individuals are normally attracted to the people who are happy with themselves and who live with honesty. One of the center lessons of Buddhism is the idea of fleetingness, that everything in life is impermanent and continually changing. This incorporates outside approval. The applause and endorsement you get from others today might be gone tomorrow. Pursuing something so unsound will just prompt dissatisfaction. What's more, tension. Internal development anyway is something that can't be detracted from you. The insight, mindfulness, and profound flexibility you create through self-improvement are enduring characteristics that will serve you all through your life. Another significant Buddhist idea is equanimity, which alludes to keeping up with mental tranquility and profound equilibrium despite outer conditions. At the point when you center around inward development, you develop equanimity. You become less receptive to both applause and analysis, since your identity worth is no longer attached to others' thought process. All things being equal, it's secured in your own internal harmony also. Mindfulness, this close-to-home equilibrium, permits you to explore life's ups and downs with beauty and certainty, centering on internal development. Doesn't mean disregarding the rest of the world or others, rather it implies perceiving that the most significant work you can do is inside yourself. When you focus on your self-improvement, you likewise become a better companion, accomplice, and local area part. You bring more empathy, persistence, and intelligence to your connections, and you motivate others to zero in all alone development. Internal development is certainly not a self-centered pursuit. It's the establishment for a more agreeable and satisfying life for both you and people around you. When you focus on internal development, you open the entryway to genuine bliss. Outside approval might give transitory joy. Be that as it may, it's transitory and subject to others'. Internal development, then again, gives enduring pleasure and satisfaction, since it's established in your own endeavors. What's more, mindfulness, you never again need to depend on the assessments of others to feel great about yourself, and this opportunity is staggeringly engaging. The second you quit thinking often about what others think, you open your actual potential and embrace an existence of self-strengthening. Let go of outside assumptions and begin zeroing in on your own process. Recall, genuine power comes from the inside.